Hello, hello, hello. Uh, I'm probably gonna mess up 1,000 things, so bear with me while I figure out how to technology. And here I am. And here he is.
It's good, fam.
How's the audio sound? Too loud? Too quiet?
Your shit's sharp and pretty professional. I guess as long as you don't get too loud, it should be good. Sharp as fuck. Uh,
Sharp but too loud? I didn't hear what you said.
no, I said it's sharp as fuck, but it's not too loud. It's just really crisp and shit.
Okay, cool.
As long as you don't raise your voice, it's great.
Yeah, as long
I
as I
do,
don't yell, so don't make me
yeah.
yell at you. Just keep it cool.
oh, oh, no, I didn't know I was left wing. You sound solidly left wing. I didn't even know
Yeah, you're still stuck in the left wing. I'm not in the left wing. You are.
that.
I'm okay. You're the one that's broken, dude. I gotta fix you.
I never even considered that. I need to know, but because I'm simple minded, I thought that if you vote Democrat, you're left wing, and if you vote Republican, you're right wing. I am that simple, at least generally speaking. I thought that was
No, even if you vote Republican, you're still left wing. You just don't know it.
all right. Give me the a couple of the points of left wing, so I know where I'm at mentally and shit.
So the soapbox speech is the same as since the beginning. For a year ago, I've said this very clearly. The only thing that matters on the political compass is first morality. Either you have a god or you don't.
That's
And
right
if you're
wing, right?
atheist or yes, right wing
Yeah,
is
they would
a
claim
god
they God. Yeah, yeah.
that knows good and evil.
Right,
And you can claim it's Allah or Buddha or Zeus or whatever. We can debate that stuff later, but the
right.
division is between just those who have like no God and just hail to science or whatever
Can we
logic
give one of
reason.
those aside? I know that Republicans claim to be the religious side and why we want to bring religion back. But by your definition, do they either side fall into that follows God or is moral? I
No,
don't see it.
so
Okay.
so at least the left wing is honest about it. The left wing is completely honest. They're the Marxist
right.
communists that are like,
Right.
there
Right.
is no God, there's only the state. The
Right.
state is our
Yeah.
God.
Mm.
And so the right wing pretends like they like Jesus for votes,
Right. Right.
and it works every time because they just get out, they just trot out some random preacher or pastor or
Yeah.
whatever who says, if you love Jesus, you got to vote Republican, just like Jesus would. He would
Yeah.
vote, AR-15. Let's
All
go
right.
bomb the Middle East,
All right. Just
the
like
typical
Jesus
right
used
wing
to.
values.
All right.
So that's step one. Step two is the most important pillar of your society is the money and who controls it. So there's only two choices. There's either socialism or capitalism. There is no in between. There is no
All
half and
right.
half. You
So the
can't have
second
like
thing is
half capitalism.
socialism and capitalism. Are you sure? Because I
Yes,
would have thought that
100%.
my shit would run down
100%.
into. Okay. All right. So
So
if I
so the
gotta,
problem is
yeah,
the
yeah,
problem is you think you're a capitalist because you live in America, right?
yeah. I think I'm one of those free society, motherfuckers. But I should be allowed to sell my shit to my neighbor or whatever. You know, that I believe in that shit without the government having to
The
say
easiest
so
way
and
to
all that shit.
find out without having to have some lengthy philosophical debate, if you
Yeah,
just want the
yeah,
easy, clear answer, don't pay taxes and see what happens.
right. I don't
If
believe
you
that's okay. That's
if
robbery. Yeah,
if nothing happens to you and if you just don't pay taxes and you continue to farm your vegetables in peace and quiet,
right,
then you're a
right,
capitalist. If you don't
right.
pay your taxes and then the men show up with guns and haul your ass off to jail, you're in a socialist country.
You're a socialist.
That's how you know the difference.
Okay. All right. So if I on my farm and no one comes to get me, or my property and no one comes to get me, I'm a capitalist. I don't
Yes.
understand how that works. If you don't pay taxes, capitalist. If you call yourself a
You can pay
capitalist,
taxes, but they have to be opt in or opt out. You have to have the choice on whether or not you want to be a part of that system.
right?
And if the
And
government decides for you that you're going to pay them whether you want to or not, that's socialism.
all right.
So here's how they bullshit you in America, by the way. Since you're an American, you completely understand the bullshit. So the way guess how they sell it to Americans? They say, "We're not going to force you to pay taxes. We'll allow you to taxes." Right? Wink
Will
wink.
allow you to
Right,
what?
Cool Joe?
Will allow you
They
to
allow
what?
you to vote in a
Ah, yes.
democracy for your taxes. You voted for your
Yeah.
taxes, Joe
Oh yeah.
Cool, so you
You
have
did this.
no one to
I agree.
blame but yourself.
Yes. And them shitty laws, you voted for all that shit, Joe.
Yeah, yeah, you voted for all that, and that's why you're going to jail right now. The police are taking you
All
to jail
right.
because you
Yeah.
voted for
Doing
them
what
to
you
take your
asked
ass to
for,
jail.
man. You voted for these. Yes, that is the gaslight. Yes.
Do you see how that's how you're free in America because we live in a democracy, where you
Yes.
voted for the shit.
Yes.
So, anyways, that's how they bullshit you, and so
You
you know
know,
the
I'm a
bullshit.
cop
I
watcher.
know
I
it.
have some very people who I respect selling me that line that Joe, you're part of this. You voted for it. You got to follow the system. I mean, cats, I really respect and are really good at this. Following that line that you just said there.
So, by
They
the way,
believe.
Joe, if you got a
Right.
problem with the system, you should have voted for Kamala instead of Trump. See, you voted for Trump, and that's why you're being hauled off to jail. If you just voted for Kamala, you'd be free.
Everything would have been okay. You got your
That's why you hold
guns
your hands
back.
up, don't shoot. Come on, man, join the
Uh,
movement. BLM.
oh my
Don't Black
goodness.
Lives Matter?
Both options are just myths that don't seem to be logical, and not only myths, they have really built in evils and control mechanisms built in.
Oh
Both
yeah.
are inadequate
Oh yeah.
options. Yeah.
Yep. 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 But by the way, the first illusion, and this gets into the third pillar, by the way. So we talked about the economy. The economy dictates everything. So as long as you're giving all your money to these gangs and oligarchs and terrorists, then they're obviously going to control all the shit. And you know how they control it through the
Yeah.
uniparty. So they create a uniparty in which you have the illusion that your vote
Hmm.
matters. So they control both puppets, whether it's Trump or Kamala. They're paid by the same groups of people. And
Of course.
so they give you the illusion that if you vote, that will make a difference. Now the police will stop hauling your ass to jail because, if you
Yes.
just
And,
vote for the right person,
and
then you'll be
really what
safe.
you're voting for is not like people really discuss policy anymore. You're really voting to
Hmm.
kill some trans guy's rights or to get some dude out of the country. You they give you your little shit that you're voting for. You're not really voting for
Yeah.
freedoms and shit. That's never even discussed. Anything heavy
Now,
is never even
they
discussed.
already decided the plan way before they even gave you the puppets to vote for. They already know what's
Right.
going to happen next. They
Right.
just have to
Yeah.
create the illusion that you feel like you made some change
Mm.
by
I got
voting
a
for
buddy
your.
who would love you. Yeah. He's
Yeah,
racist
yeah,
as
yeah.
fuck, but he would love you.
So there's the three items. Either you got religion or you don't,
So
and which
far,
is
I'm
called
in none of those.
morality.
You said I was leftist. So far, I believe in none of that shit.
Well, then you're in denial or delusionment
Yes.
that you're part of the solution, because if you're still
Yes.
paying taxes, you're part of the problem.
Agreed. I'm just trying not to get my ass whooped right now. I'm making
And
precautions
if
and making moves, but right now, I even don't like, and I don't want to do the South Sit shit. I don't know enough, but I think that's even shitty. I think that's robbery. Motherfuckers waiting behind bushes to jump you
yeah,
because I told you you can only go at a certain speed. I get a license not to get my ass whooped.
so if you're not joining me over here in Conservataria with my bunker in the woods, you're
I was
part
about
of
to
the
ask,
problem. You're
where
not
are you
part of the solution.
physically? All right, bunker in the woods. I was gonna ask. That was my next question. Where is it physically located? Oh, shit.
I can't disclose that until
No, no,
I
no.
clear your
I
background check.
understand. Apparently, there are these places. They all seem to be in the woods too, man. Everybody's in the woods.
Well, that's the only place safe from the state. Because if you try to
This,
build it near a city, they'll
yeah,
crack down on you.
yeah. They have 87
I
permit
mean,
rules, and if they find your ass in the woods, they're gonna have 87 different rules that you didn't
oh
follow
yeah,
too.
you're dead either way. But at least you have a
Yeah.
sporting chance out in the woods. Is what I'm saying.
Hmm. Yeah. My buddy in Canada, he's found some, him and his communities, they found multiple spots and they are just massive. I'd be like, I'm from the city. I didn't even know land even expand like that, man. So, it's
Hell
going
yeah.
to catch. Yeah, I'm sure we got it here too. I just don't get out enough.
I got a forest you can get lost in, so it's pretty big.
Right, right, right.
But again, it's nothing
Wait, wait,
impressive
wait,
because
wait,
it's
wait.
just
There's
some
an
random.
inherent problem there. There's no problem. You already stated it. You're in the delusion that you can make change, Joe. I was about to say, but you can't make change in the woods. But you're like, you can't make change, period.
Well, I'm probably making more change than the retards out there voting for Trump right now. So there's a slight difference in my game plan than theirs.
Right. You want to tell me about the change? You want to keep going with what you were saying?
So we just went over the change. I don't know if you caught the previous episode, but my little
Uh,
waifu bot laid down the manifesto, the Constitution, and the early
okay.
scenario of actually making it happen. So
Very good.
a long time
Those are the
ago,
first steps. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, a long time ago, somebody asked me like if I was serious, what I would do, and I told them, I kind of had like sort of like this Amish Free State project kind of scenario in mind, where we just slowly remove ourselves from the bullshit and just like do
Right.
our own thing, and then
Yeah, yeah,
band
yeah.
together, and then see if
I'm
it'll grow or
amazed
not.
at the progress some of these people get being able to pull away from the cops in society. I'm amazed that they even give the Amish or some of these groups as much space as they do,
And
and
so
don't
that see,
just
there's a perfect example. It's like physically possible if you're serious about it. You can actually slowly grow your own little community.
yeah, yeah,
Even though they will never be free, like the Amish will never achieve freedom under the tyranny we have set up now.
right.
The
Why
Free
would you
State
then?
Project is kind of what's that?
Why would you attain real freedom then? Why do you think you'd be
Because
successful?
if you listen to my words carefully, you'll notice that a lot of the things I talk about aren't theoretical. They're stuff that actually happens in real life. For
Okay,
example, a long time ago, someone asked me, like, what happens when, like, some Canadians were asking me, what happens when the government freezes all your bank accounts and shit like that.
all right.
And so I explained to them the beauty of this thing called cryptocurrency. So apparently, there is a certain cryptocurrency that is completely decentralized, which means no government or institution on earth controls it.
Is that true? Because I've seen them already instituting laws where anything you use in the United
Oh, they can
States is going to have
try.
to. Okay, okay,
They can
okay.
try, but
Yeah,
again, like I said, it depends on how serious you are.
right,
So basically, right now, if I'll go ahead and just spoil the answer. If you own any Bitcoin right now, you
right.
already own the official currency of Conservatarian
Okay,
today.
okay.
And so the way it starts is, even though it's not practical yet, it's kind of like trying to trade gold bars at the moment. It's very clunky and
I get
cumbersome,
it.
but it physically works, but it's not the ideal situation.
I understand. Yeah.
So if I ever built a community big enough and smart enough and well funded enough, we would actually create our own cryptocurrency that mimics Bitcoin, but is even better. And I'm not going to spoil it because if I tell you the answer, that's how you would rule the financial market. Anyways, so, but again, this isn't theoretical. This is something we could do today if we wanted to. If we
So far, I
really
haven't
focused
heard
on it.
anything crazy. Yeah, I agree.
But I'm just giving you an example of an actual thing you can touch with your own hands. Like I said, you can open your own little Bitcoin account and own Bitcoin, and right now you are free from the system. Period. There's
Right,
no one
right,
can touch it or do anything to it,
right.
including the governments.
And I don't know how effective they're going to be. They got it on the list that they're trying to legislate shit, but I don't know how effective they're going to be with that shit.
Well, if you've
Because
been following the news, the U.S. government suddenly decided to drop billions into it, so there must be something there of value,
well, maybe they're
including.
planning on taking it over.
Oh, of course they are. That's the whole point. They want to. They gotta
Right,
maintain control. So,
right,
but again, they can't take over my Bitcoin. They can take
right,
over the leftover
right,
Bitcoins.
right, right. That's right.
Plus, I would immediately solve that problem. Again, in Conservataria, we would just create our own decentralized cryptocurrency, and
And
that way
blockchain
it would
it
prevent
only,
like
yeah.
any government from like monopolizing it or
Yes,
whatever and
which was the selling
seizing it.
point of all of this crypto. It would be government free, and that was the selling point.
That
That's
was
what
the whole
made it
point
so
of it. That's
attractive.
why it was
Yeah,
created. That's why
yeah,
Bitcoin was created, was to break free from all this socialist bullshit.
all
So
right. So I'm on
anyways,
board so far. Yeah.
so there's the real world steps. And so now you're building an Amish community based on morality in which everybody agrees to be not dicks to each other.
Is that pretty much
And then
it
you have.
morally? Is not be
Yeah, morally.
dicks? I
Morally
mean,
is like no killing, stealing, lying, all
okay.
the basics.
All right.
And so um, including not loving your enemies, so we don't get to bomb brown people in the Middle East or whatever, just because
Okay.
the military industrial complex needs to make profit that day or whatever. We don't care
Yes.
about that shit. That's not
Yes.
our business.
Yes.
So our business is whatever you want to do with your money. If you want to spend all your hard-earned life savings to go bomb brown people in the Middle East, I'm not going to stop you. That's your
Or
God-given freedom
feed
to.
a bunch of poor people or homeless people. Yeah. Knock yourself out.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we're not going to penalize you and steal your money from your business just because you're a citizen of our country.
What do you call
Another
this?
income
Free
tax. So
state something? What are you calling this? Because it sounds like you thought out a lot of
so in
shit
New
that.
Hampshire, they attempted a project called the Free State Project. And
Yeah.
so they're trying
Okay.
to like start this like libertarian movement to see if it's
Yeah.
physically possible or not.
All right.
It's not off
But
to a good start. There's too much internal politics going on with like the left wing versus the right wing, which is why I said this
I
is
agree.
so critical. This is
I
so
know
critical.
some.
This is why you have to get it right.
I got buddies who do it. Some of these cop watchers, I got some buddies who are part of it, and they sell it big time. And that is my complaint with them. Nigga, you are a part of it. They're talking about they want to secede and all of that shit, but they
Yep.
do everything politically and shit, left wing versus right wing. I'm like, I don't know. Those tools won't get you there.
So the
They
reason
going,
why I always stop with the example I give those examples only because they get one thing right. So for example, the Amish get one thing right. They get their morality correct. It's good to have like a Christian-based society, but then they get the other shit wrong. The Free State Project gets one thing right. They get the libertarian government part right, but then they get the other shit wrong. And that's
yeah.
where their system fails.
They rely
So
on the
where my
government for everything. All of their change, they go through the government to get it, as if he's going to
they,
release them and give them their freedom type shit.
they play a lot of the similar games that you're trying to get away from, like all the
Yeah,
cronyist bullshit and like
yeah,
conspiring with like lobbyist groups and all that
yeah,
shit. So
yeah, yeah.
there's still too much of that stuff involved. And so that's why, for example, I don't know. Do you know who Dave Smith is?
I don't think so.
Dave Smith is the comedian who almost ran for libertarian president of the United States a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So you may not even know this, but we actually have a third party that no one knows exists or cares about. It's called the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I haven't delved much into it. In fact, I
And
asked
so
my
he
friend
almost,
iFi what it is. That's how I got
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
information on
yeah.
the Libertarian Party.
That's what I was saying. Is it's still a joke, but I keep trying to get people to at least be aware of it as like a theoretical possible in the future. But anyways, he almost ran for president of the Libertarian Party, and so he's a really good source of finding out like what's the problems with all the current system, all the socialists and the authoritarians and all that bullshit. And so I agree with him
That's
on
it.
most of the stuff he talks about. But again, where he fails is to see where he misses out on the conservative aspect of the movement. So as a libertarian, again, he gets one thing right, just like the Free State Project in New Hampshire.
Right.
The politics, we all agree, we want a smaller government that's controlled by the people, not the other way around. The government controls the people, and lobbies and crony bullshit. And so that's where he failed, and he knows it's failed, and that's why he doesn't even try to support it anymore, because he knows it's never going anywhere. And so I was hoping at some point some people would accidentally get the debate right. When you may have heard of when um, Andrew Wilson got in a debate with Dave Smith. Do you remember that one?
No, I just Googled Dave Smith and put a video, found a video to watch later while you were talking. I
If
don't even know
you
who he
if
is.
you ever watch the debate between Andrew Wilson of the Crucible and Dave Smith, that was the debate that should have helped a lot if there was not a retard present that fucked it up. But anyways, um, Dave Smith was taking the position of like the Libertarian Party argument, and then Andrew Wilson was allegedly going to argue in favor of like why conservatives don't get along with libertarians.
Right.
And so unfortunately, I wasn't at that debate because I couldn't watch the whole debate. But anyways, Andrew fucked it up. I wrote on his ass for a while, but not, he's a lost cause, so I don't bother trying to help him
uh,
anymore. Anyways, that is the debate. We need to get the conservatives and the libertarians together into a group called conservatarians. So that's the name of my group.
That's where it comes from. I should better remember
And
that.
so if you're educated enough to know the important stuff, like I pointed out, it's morality, economy, and size and power of government. You have to get all three of those. You can't like ignore any one of those three. It's the holy trinity of our
So,
system.
am I correct that your government would have a limit? Otherwise you'd become like everybody else. You'd have to have a bunch of small towns. You couldn't have just one universal so and so.
It's completely autonomous, like all government should be. The
Right.
most power you would see in my government would be at the local level, like your
Right.
mayor type tribunal. You'd have like a legislator, a judge, and maybe just like a mayor that just handles like the day-to-day stuff. They would have no real power per se, other than just to enforce all of the stuff we agree to. Like sovereignty, freedom, liberty, capitalism, autonomy. As long as you don't kill, steal, or lie to any of your neighbors, you can
You,
do
you
anything else you
shouldn't
want.
even
We
see
don't.
one of these government representatives, right? Certainly not the
Right.
arm.
And
Yeah, yeah.
even if you do, even if you did see one of them, they would have to ask permission to come onto your property or something like that.
Yes.
They can't just
Yes.
like show up with a warrant or like kick your door
Yeah.
down or anything like that.
Yeah,
And so,
they'd be have to humble themselves because I assume they'd be within a few miles drive. It's not
oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. They'd
like
be in your
now
neighborhood.
everybody's so insulated, you'll never see them, right? So you can't, my
And
government
also,
do
they
something
couldn't hide
stupid.
behind any like they can't hide behind any like bullshit government security forces or anything like that because
Yeah,
again the people of the country are the most heavily armed people, and so
right.
they would probably have smaller, lesser powered weapons just to defend
Keep
themselves or
it
something
right,
if they got in a
right.
street fight or something.
Right.
But
You're only
other than
allowed
that,
two guards
yeah.
or something. So when we show up 12 deep with guns, your guards are gonna know.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not
Uh,
it's not them bullying us, it's us bullying
right.
them. And so,
Right.
and
Yes.
if they ever stepped out of line, they would be terrified of what would happen next. So that's the kind of government you want to live in, and so that's what conservatarian government is. It's almost non-existent. It's just like a formality, just
He said Drew didn't like
so.
this idea. I know Drew is like he's into that force doctrine and all of that weird shit. He really didn't like your idea here, right? I'm assuming. Andrew Wilson.
What he doesn't like what? Oh, he doesn't like libertarians first of all because he wants an authoritarian theocracy. He
Right.
wants the
Right.
King Arthur of the Orthodox Church to rule us
Yes.
with an iron
Yes.
fist.
Yes.
That's what he doesn't like
Yes.
about me or Dave Smith.
He said he
That's why he
wants
was going to debate him.
he was trying to convince me the other day about how I should want a guy to jump out from a bush at 3 a.m. if there's a stop sign and there's no one for 100 miles at 4 o'clock in the morning. I shouldn't be able to have to make that decision. I should want a guy out the tree. He makes me safe and makes me better. This makes me a better person and makes me make better decisions. He's trying to convince me of that.
Yeah. So that's typical authoritarian bullshit, which we don't put
Yes.
up with.
Yes, you should be
And that's why
happy
I'm
for that.
see
So it
that's
makes you a
that's
better person.
That's why it's non-negotiable. I told you it's part of the Holy Trinity is the libertarian government, which means small and powerless. And so
Right,
their only function in life is to uphold the shit we tell them to do. We want liberty, private ownership, freedom to speak and
yeah,
associate and to trade and do whatever we want as long as we don't kill, steal, or lie. We have the rule of law. So we're
right,
moral people, but we're
right.
but we're absolutely free people. So
It sounds like
so
it
that's
sounds
that's
like the
the
way to go.
that's the black and white difference of people like Andrew Wilson, for example, who claim to be
Yeah.
conservatives. By the way, remember when I told you
Okay.
the bullshit people that sell Jesus
Yeah.
to you and say that's what you're
Yeah.
voting for is patriotism and
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Jesus republicanism or whatever you want to
Right.
call it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, these are the same assholes that will tell you the lie about why we're going into the Middle East, and even though
Yeah.
it's really a proxy war with Russia about oil prices or whatever,
Right. Right.
they'll lie to you about saying like, oh, this is our Christian duty to protect the nation of
Yeah.
Israel and blah 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 and all that
Yes. We
bullshit.
got to
So
kill all these Palestinians and starve these
we
children
got to
and
bomb
shit.
brown people. We got
Yes.
money to make.
Yeah.
So,
It's
anyways,
such a
that's what you
danger
get
to
with them.
us.
That's what you get with those groups. That's what you get with
Yeah.
the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, and all those assholes. And that's why they're constantly trying to cover their tracks right now, and why Candace Owens, exposed them and pointed them out for all the warmongers they are. And of course, they kicked her out of that shit because they're like, we're not having that. You can't question the military industrial complex. And
Oh
so
yeah, it's like like 3 or 4 groups. You got to keep your hands off the small hats. You
So
can't say
those are
stuff
the
about
people
them.
that are flirting with conservataria. Your Dave
Yeah.
Smiths and your Candace Owens.
All right.
They see how fucked up the shit is, and they want out. They want to get out and away from it. And
All
so
right.
I'm trying to offer the place they want to go to. That's where they want to go. Is
Right.
is to here. And so
All right. I
so
think you broke it
anyways,
down
the
well,
current
bro. You did good.
yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the left wing and the right wing. The left wing is immoral, socialist authoritarians. The
Yes.
right wing, which doesn't exist really almost anywhere on the planet right now. I mean, America has like, me and two other guys, and then the rest of the planet's fucked. The right wing are moral, capitalist, libertarians, and all three of those are absolutely required. You can't skip any one of those steps. You have to have all three at the same time.
You say the right
If you
wing
can
already
achieve
got
those, what's that?
moral. You say the right wing already has those 3 qualities: moral,
It's required. If you don't have all three
capitalist.
qualities, you're not right wing. So you have
Uh,
to
you know,
respect God, and don't
yeah,
kill, don't steal, don't lie. You
yeah,
have to be capitalist. Capitalism is the private ownership of your land, labor, and fruit, and the
all right.
voluntary exchange of goods and services. That's all it means. It's not
Right,
all the lies that the left wing sells you that capitalists are these
right,
greedy fat pigs that want to oppress the hardworking man that just wants to pay for his
right.
sick grandma. And so
Uh,
that's the bullshit they sell you because they're selling you socialism because they want,
and
Stalin and Mao to show up at your house and seize all your money, for the motherland.
that's pretty cool if you redefine what capitalism is. That's a nice little trick. Right now,
Well,
people think capitalism is has a whole lot of other shit as opposed to if what you're saying is capitalism is just these basic things. They redefine it and say you want to be capitalist, you want to be able to make money, but that's not what capitalism is. You attach taxes and all of these.
that's socialism. As soon as you
Uh,
get taxed, that's socialism.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
anyways, so as long as you maintain the right wing, we're friends. As soon as you violate any of those, we're no longer friends. So
right,
that's where
right.
I draw the line
And
there.
that's why the community I'd want to live in anyway. I don't give a fuck if a guy is over there. I got enough land anyway. He plays fucked up Mexican music, or the hillbilly who likes to shoot off his gun, or the dude who wears gold chains rapping. I don't give a fuck what you want to do, man. As long as you're not fucking with me. I might want to go over there and drink a cerveza with you, or go over here and listen to some Biggie with you.
Yep.
Uh, right.
Voluntary exchange of goods and services. That's what capitalism is.
Yes,
That means you
yes,
agree to it and I agree to it,
yes.
and then we'll do
Very good.
business together.
Very good. That word is key. That takes out the that this thing was as the system as we know it to be socialist, voluntary. Yeah.
The actual definition of socialism is when the state seizes the means of productions and no one has a
Right.
problem with that definition. That means the
Right.
government comes and takes your shit
And
with or
dispenses
without
it.
your consent.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
determine
and
where it's dispensed. Yeah.
spends it on drugs and hookers. That's
Yes.
not your business. That's the
And
government's business.
gaslight you
What they
and
spend.
say you wouldn't gave us this money if you didn't want us to spend it on hookers and shit. You're
You
okay with
voted
it. You're the
for it,
one who
Joe.
gave us the money. I wouldn't be in
You voted
office
for it,
without
Joe. You
you.
got no one to
Right.
blame.
Right. I wouldn't be in office without you. Well, you didn't put up a guy up there that was saying he was going to end taxes. Maybe we'd have voted for him.
Yeah.
Shit.
Read my lips. No
Right.
new
No, no
taxes.
taxes. Fucker.
I
Yeah,
love
even
it
if
when
he
humans
do
fall for
say it.
that bit every time.
Yeah, they got Trump got him, right? Trump was like, no income tax. He got voted in
No,
and he
no,
go,
no. That was the famous quote by Bush Senior. Remember
no, 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 no.
when he
I'm
was
like
running?
this time. No, I remember no new
Oh
taxes. I
yeah, this
remember that.
time, this time it's Trump saying, "No, we'll get rid of
He,
taxes
he
and
said
we'll
we're
just
gonna get
tariff
rid of
everyone
income
else."
tax. Now you got income tax and tariff. This we got the worst of
Yep.
both worlds right now. Jeez.
Yeah, yeah. Anytime the government does anything with the economy, you're fucked. That's all you got to know, whether it's
Yeah.
good or bad, if the government's doing something.
I
So,
think that was Reagan that
anyways,
said you can assume that it's
so
not in your interest if the government's doing it. They ain't doing it's not in your interest.
yeah, that's the scariest words. We're from the government and we're here to help.
Where the hell? Right.
So, anyways, that's the left wing. And so my new poster child, her name is Leonarda Joni, and she's
There
a
we
stand-up
go.
comedian that's getting censored on all of the platforms and banned from
Uh,
all the comedy clubs. And so
Leonarda.
she is a
Leonarda.
Leonarda Joni. I could
Joni. She
probably
popped
throw up
right
a
up.
little clip of her or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you got some skills, let me see a clip or something.
You should watch her interview with like
Hold on, I find.
Roseanne
Hold on,
Barr
man.
and stuff. What?
That's cool. My sister, my brother's sick, so we're all back in Chicago. And it was great. She was like, "You need to get in the bathroom." Russ even to get to take a shower, just like old times, right? My sister, my older sister, we that she said that to me as a kid. Those same words when I was a kid. That's pretty cool. I don't know. That was just cool. And she
Let me.
doesn't even live in the state or anything. It's cool that she's back home saying those words. All right. I
So here,
am.
I'll share a little something here for you. Let me see if that pops up right. Yeah, there it goes. There you go. So
Okay.
this is Leonardo Jody on Roseanne Barr. You should totally watch this whole episode. It's awesome. But just I'll play it in the background with subtitles or whatever, just for shits and
Well, let me hear a
giggles.
little
But
bit of what she said. Let me hear the audio if you don't get drunk or something. But I want to hear anything. Show me something about this girl right quick. I see look like Roseanne talking now. Or is she
uh,
talking about Roseanne? Is that what's going on? Oh
she's
shit, I
talking to
just
Roseanne.
oh okay. All right. Let me hear something or anything, some controversial, why you like her so much and
They
why
talk
she's
about
so
everything,
controversial.
dude. They talk about how like the devil controls the left wing and how they brainwash all the
All right, I
people
need to
and
hear
you know
a
all
couple
that
minutes
shit.
of it. Let me hear a couple minutes.
I mean, you can watch the whole thing. I'll just let it play in the background. We can just stop talking and then just watch it for a while if you want
Okay.
to. But I
Yeah,
was
I
just
do. I
saying,
wanna
like,
I wanna just this way I'll be better in on the conversation. If you give me 2, 3 minutes, I feel like I can
let
know a
me see if I can
motherfucker's
find
life.
the.
Yeah, yeah. I do believe
I'm
that
trying to.
I just it's just a couple hours long because I just saved one for watch later. I bet this is it. Joni, whatever
Hour
her
and
name
45
is,
minutes.
hour 45. I just saved one. Let me see if
Leonarda
Roseanne is on.
Joni.
Yeah, it's Leonardo Joni. No, no
Leonarda
Roseanne on
Joni.
this one. This one's 2 hours the one I saved. But yeah, I got her. I
I
found
mean,
her.
all
You
of her
know.
shit's good, but some of her interviews are kind of milk toast boring, you know, because they're trying to stay like PC and stuff. But you know, Roseanne Barr doesn't give a fuck, so she's like, we'll just talk about anything you want to. So
Right,
that's
right.
if you're gonna
Uh,
start introduce yourself to Leonardo, this is where you should start with the Roseanne Barr interview.
okay, I'm gonna look
But
for that
anyways,
one.
I'll just let it play in the background because, like I said, we could, you know, watch and discuss it. I'll spoil it for you. So, Roseanne Barr, as you know, is a very well-known left-wing comedian for, you know, Boomer generation, pretty much from Boomer till now, and best known for her TV show Roseanne. She got banned from her own TV show because she said some naughty words recently, you know,
Yeah,
and got
yeah,
canceled by
yeah,
the woke left.
yep.
And so now Roseanne Barr is right wing. You know, before she was very left wing, and you know, this one of the NPCs that you know parroted all the
Yeah.
talking points, and uh, and now Leonarda Joni is going through the exact same process. A left wing white liberal
Okay.
woman who probably only voted for Kamala Harris and you know Hillary Clinton and you know all the other
Yeah,
obvious
Obama
stuff,
or
Obama
whatever. Yeah.
and all that stuff, spent their entire lives just marching in step as left wing candidate. And now, one day, Leonarda had a red pill moment where she talks about it on the show, but now because she's you know aware of what's going on in her life, she's like the extreme opposite in now. Now she's probably right next to me, you know, talking about how great the right wing is and everything, and so I mean she probably isn't that deep into like you know economic debate or anything like that, but she knows that
Yeah.
the left wing is just completely fucked up, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with it. But now she knows it, having gone through the process. And
See,
so it's so funny
I'm wondering if
because
you're right here, man. I'm wondering because you have a very separate definition of what right wing is. I wonder if she's considering and Roseanne consider herself themselves the newfound right wing. Are they thinking like you, or are they still just fucking
no,
what I
not
consider
quite.
Republican?
So yeah, more like Republican, but even they're
Yeah,
even skeptical of Republicans because they know Republicans are also full of shit. So
they
they
should
can't
be.
figure
Yeah,
out where their party is. You know, they
that
keep
makes sense.
thinking there's probably some group out there, but they don't know
All
what it
right.
is, and that's why I keep saying like there is no
Yeah.
right wing to go to. And
Right.
so that's the whole point of today's talk. So today's talk is about how all these left wings keep getting kicked to the curb by their own kind. You know, the left wing is are the ones that are devouring themselves.
Live by the
And
sword, die
so
by the
after they kick
sword.
them, yeah.
Live by the
And
sword,
so
die by
after
the
they kick them
sword. The
to the
left
curb,
wing, the shit that you plan as left wing, the canceling, the identity politics, uh, all the things that the tools that you use, yes, there will be one day turned around and used on you.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But so the after they're kicked to the curb, the question is which party are they a member of now? So sort of like your Joe Rogans and your Dave Rubins and
Yeah.
your Ben Shapiro's and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
grew up their whole lives thinking they're left wing, and then they're like always arguing with the left wing about not belonging
Uh,
with their
it's
group.
just dumb. It's
And
not really a
so,
left wing, right wing. It's just young kids being dumb, picking a side. Now you're telling me they're no longer vice lords, they're disciples. They will be or should be just as disappointed over there. They don't get no fucking badge or no cookie for progress just because they fucking found out the left wing was dumb. Now you're gonna spend another lifetime learning that the right wing is bullshit or the Republicans. I don't want to confuse words here. Why would I be happy that Joe Rogan he realized left was done? Hooray! What is he? First grade now? The answer is
well,
not over there with
that's the
Trump.
problem,
This
though. I
nigga
mean,
hugging
either
Trump
either
and
no
sucking
words.
Trump's cock. All of them think Trump's a god. Why would I respect Joe Rogan? You abandoned the left wing and then you fell bosom into the bosom of the fucking of the other side. As if it's oh, I just picked the wrong side. No, if they both fucked up or not, why are you praising this nigga for coming to the left to the Republican Party?
Well, see,
You.
that's now you're starting to fall into their other trap of making it sound like, well, there is no right choice, so fuck all the above or whatever. But then you'll just slowly creep back into, well, I guess I'll just go back to voting Democrat again because I'm obviously not
No,
a
no,
right
no,
right wing
no, no, no.
Republican or whatever. But
I don't think that's nearly what I'm saying. I am saying the same way the left is toxic, so is the right. Not your small definition. You've already admitted there's only 12 motherfuckers that are right wing, according to you. So when I say the right, you know I ain't
right.
talking about all these niggas that vote Republican every year. By them going over there, how is that improvement? How are they smarter? Why would I think, he's waking up? Right? He joined the disciples and left the
That's what
vice
I
lord.
just said. See, they're all part of the same
Right.
uniparty. It's all left wing. They're
All right.
all left wing. They're just different flavors of left
All
wing.
right. I thought you
So
were
it's like,
praising Joe Rogan for
do you
his
want Coke
progress.
flavored? No,
Pepsi or
no, no, no,
Pepsi
no, no.
flavored
I was,
Coke. That's what the
yeah,
choice
Coke or
is.
Pepsi or RC Cola. Which party do you vote for? And
Right.
so it's all corn syrup, and you're
Right.
fucked.
Right.
But anyways, um,
Yeah, I thought you
it's
were
like a
praising
diabetic,
Joe Rogan.
choosing. No, 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 no.
All
If
right.
you listen carefully, I was
I
pointing out that
misunderstood.
he's just like a lost sheep, useful idiot that just floats around in the centrism land,
Yeah. Okay. I agree with
where
that. Yeah.
he doesn't claim to be left wing anymore, but he still wants to claim left wing because he thinks he's
Yeah.
left wing because he doesn't
Yeah.
agree with the quote unquote right wing. And so, what party does he belong to? Just the
He's
middle
so.
ground, the
It's
centrist
just
party or whatever.
not smart. Just not smart.
And so all of those people are still left wing. They're still in the left wing. They never left. It's just that they feel
Okay.
like they're separate because they're so against the crazy left wing people.
Right.
All the the trans,
Yes.
reading the kids in libraries and shit, like those
Right.
people. And
Right.
so they're like, well, I'm not quite that crazy, but I'm definitely not voting for Trump or Republicans like Bush or Reagan or whatever. And so, but again, I'm trying to get you to see that there is no right wing. Let me give you an example of exactly what I'm talking about. So you would agree everyone in America thinks George Bush Jr. is a right wing Republican, a
Yeah.
conservative, correct?
I would. Yeah.
Okay, Okay, do you remember what happened in 2008?
Probably a bunch of shit. One of the 18 wars that
The
ended his
housing
family
market
right there.
crash. Do you remember the
Ah,
housing market
that was
crash?
2008. Yes, that's when Obama took over and ended Bush. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, when the entire world's economy had a meltdown because of certain people. It was the government and the crony socialists running the banking real estate sectors.
Right. I
They
remember.
knowingly scammed everyone in the country selling bullshit mortgages to like people with no jobs and
The
shit like
people who
that.
couldn't even
And
afford
they
them.
were buying like
Yeah.
they couldn't afford a house, and they were buying 4 or 5 houses. These were like strippers and
I
crackheads who were
remember.
buying
I
four
totally
or five
remember.
houses.
Yeah.
And so that completely destroyed the world economy.
Oh,
And the
okay.
right wing Republican, George Bush,
Yeah.
used government money to
Yeah.
bail out the banks that created the crash. They are the one that caused the crash.
So
That is
that
like the
means that.
worst form of socialism humanly possible, and that
Well,
was
I don't
your
know why you
right
think
wing Republican.
right wing Republicans are socialists. There is no group
Of course they are.
yes. So Bush was being a right wing conservative, whatever you call them. That's what they do. They believe in big government. Even if they say something different, they believe in take your gun. Even if they say something different, they want their gun, but they want to take your gun. That's what right wing
The only
motherfuckers are.
the, the the only difference in the uniparty choices, the uniparty means there's just one party you're voting. You're
I
voting for the same
understand that.
party over and over and
I
over again.
understand.
The
Yes.
only difference, the only difference is the left wing is honest about being communist. They gladly
Okay.
embrace the
Yes.
title. They're like,
Yes.
we love communism. We need more, Che
Yes.
Guevara and
Yeah.
Cuban Fidel Castros and Stalins and Mao's because we love communism. Bernie Sanders, AOC, Andrew Yang, universal income for everyone, no more
Yep.
poverty. you
Yep.
know,
Oh, that's just scaring
that's
me.
straight up communism. That's
Yes.
exactly out of Marx's playbook for like
I
Mao and
also
Stalin
think
to
the right
promise
wing,
to end poverty.
that communist bullshit with the right wing, who, like you say, claim they're against socialism and giving things away, but they don't mind giving all sorts of money to any big corporation, the military, other countries who they need to blow up their enemy. That's communism. You take my money and give it to somebody else. I don't feel better.
It's also communism. They just call it state capitalism to make it sound like it's more right wing
Yes, they
somehow by
just changed the
magic.
definition of it or something. Yeah,
They
change
play word games with the
wordplay.
idiots to
Yeah,
feel like your vote makes a difference. That's the only reason why they do it. They
one hundred
tell you they
percent.
love Jesus and that it's state capitalism, so it's okay. It's
Right.
okay when the state does it.
Yes, just
By the
because
way,
the state is
if you
small.
Google that definition,
Yeah.
if you Google the definition state capitalism and who uses that term, those are the fascists. That's what fascism is.
Okay.
Like, just
It's dope.
FYI, if that's the
Um,
party you want to sign up to,
this is also dope too. They're changing the definitions of the shit, the way they changed capitalism. And you talk about, and me and you are having a conversation about small government. They still stole that too. When they say state government, that's what we want. It's small, keep it in our control. That is just another branding of the same bullshit, but you put it under the
it's the
name of
exact same thing.
state.
That's what
Yeah,
socialism is.
yeah, you put it under the name
That's
of
what
state
communists
though, and
want. They
motherfuckers be
just
like,
want straight
yes,
up state ownership of the economy.
yeah,
That's all it
yeah, it's just
is.
a
It's
new
just state
master,
ownership of
new
the
new
economy.
master, new ruler. That's all.
The only difference is the left wing is honest about it. They are telling you they are communists.
Yeah,
The right wing pretends like they are
yeah,
libertarians and
yeah.
capitalists and they
It,
love Jesus.
well, it makes it
They
seem
don't love
like
Jesus. They're not capitalists and they're not libertarians, but they will tell you they are, so you will vote for them.
it also it makes me
That's
more worried about the right wing because um, the fact that you can get lied to outright every fucking 4 years, and you keep buying it. All you got to do is tell them, no, we're not communists, we're so and so. You just say the words and they believe it. Like you say, the left is more honest about it.
yeah.
It seems like the right's more gullible. Then if they're lying and you still can't see it, they pull a wool over your eyes. That they put a fucking skirt on a Coca-Cola and tell you it's no longer a Coca-Cola and you believe it. No, it's not a Coca-Cola,
Yep.
Joe. It's wearing a skirt. It can't be a beverage. It's wearing a skirt, Joe. No, that's a 2 liter, bro. No, it
It's good
can't be.
for
It
you.
just
It'll cure
it's
your
got a
diabetes.
skirt on. Yeah.
Just drink
Uh,
just drink some Pepsi. That'll cure your diabetes. Don't drink
let me
Coke.
hear.
That's
Let me
bad for
hear.
you.
That's
Drink
talking about
Pepsi. That's good
prisons.
for you.
Hey, rewind a little bit. They're talking about the prisons and demonizing and moral boundaries. This should be good. I want to hear this. Can you rewind about a minute?
All right, you want to hear the audio?
Yeah,
Let me back it up a little bit.
yeah,
Let's hear what they have to say.
Yes, I do believe
It
that.
is the devil,
Can,
his,
can you hear
his
that?
and they
yes.
Yep.
selves.
Yeah. Well, the devils are they them for sure.
For
You
sure.
know.
He's a smooth talking motherfucker, that devil.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's
real
the
slick.
other one that tells the truth, the one that's above. See, people are trying to get it all screwed up like, hey, the one that's below is the cool one, kids.
Right.
Look at how we do on TV dancing around dressed up like demons and shit.
You're like, and then
Come
you're
on,
like,
kids.
what is the devil giving you? He's like, oh, well, he let you get fucked in the ass. Doesn't that sound great?
With no grease.
No grease. Literally, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Their pride. They're like, what's pride about? Oh, we get fucked in the ass. So we're. That's literally like the biggest insult you could ever say. Like in Albanian, we have an insult. Like when we really get mad at somebody, we go, "Chion," like the chishanon and milf, which means let me fuck your mother in the ass. Sorry, tell the Albanians. It's so raunchy, you know.
Because that's like the worst
It's like the
thing
worst thing you could do
say.
to somebody. You
That's
know?
why they do it in prison. It's power. It's not sexual,
Exactly.
yeah.
And
It all comes from prison,
Yeah.
don't it?
Well, it comes from the devil.
I think it comes from
Yeah.
it comes from demonology.
Well, that's who
Yeah.
studies it, is the people that got no moral boundaries who happens to be in prison.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You make a good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
Actually, Paul.
Then they start studying that devilism because
Yeah.
they think, and you know what? You know what it really is, I think, as a comic, you know, where you're always trying to figure where the joke is.
I was gonna say, it ain't the devils in prison. The biggest devils never make it to prison. Those be the politicians, the judges, police officers. Most of the devils, the real devils, don't even get. They don't go to prison. That's for peons. But I agree with everything else.
Oh
you're
yeah,
saying.
the main devils control the prisons and
Yes,
who goes
yes,
to the
those are
prisons. So that's,
the big devils. Yeah,
but it's part of their system, and then they turn them all into hardened criminals, and then act surprised when they become gang members and shit.
yeah.
You know, it's like no shit.
I went. What I go for? I think I don't remember. It was some bullshit. Oh, it was a cop planted drugs on me, uh, and I had went to jail, and it was crazy because I learned more in there. You know, everybody taught me the credit card hustle, or you know how to grow weed, how to all the pros were in there. Why would you put a person in there that's absolutely necessary? You had an expert
For
on
real.
every fucked up thing that you wanted to learn. You had an expert or two on the deck with you. And that was all the conversation was about. This is how you do the credit card game. This is how you do the boosting game. This is how you do the dope game. That's all the conversation is. So
This
you're
is how
gonna
you
come out
become
of
a
there.
mule to.
Yeah. Yeah, and you make connections. If you know so and so, I need a hookup, and you get out, and now you can sell better because you got a Mexican connect. That's all the fucking jail does is make you better
And this
criminal.
is how you build a meth lab, and this is how you
Yeah,
lobby your government to create more meth labs,
yeah,
and all
yeah.
kinds
Then
of
you have a
dumb
couple of
shit.
those
Like,
guys in there. That's right. Yeah,
and this is how you give all the kickbacks to your local government officials so you can keep your
yeah,
business running and blah 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 blah.
yeah. You'll be
It's all part of the game.
you're a monster when you get involved in the system. It makes you a monster on both ends. Either you're a monster in the system doing the shit I'm talking about, or you're a monster for putting people in the system because now it's become about money, and you got to make up a fucking ordinance to say, nigga, if he crossed the sidewalk while you turned on an angle to the left, that's $50. You start creating immoral shit in order to feed that system. Yeah, it's all evil.
And that's the left wing for you. So now you understand the big
No,
picture. See,
I
that's what
don't
I'm saying. It's
understand.
like
You
it's
keep
it's
saying that's
all
the
rigged.
left wing. Okay, I got to keep remembering. There is no
Uniparty,
real.
uniparty. It's
Yes, when you
one
say
party.
left wing, I want to argue, right? I want to be like nigga the right wing too, but I want to
There
say,
is no right wing. They want you to
yeah,
think
that
that
that's what
Ben
I got to remember.
Shapiro is the right wing.
Yes, all right,
They want you
that's
to
how I got
think
to
George
remember.
Bush and Ben Shapiro is the right wing. The
Yes,
socialists and authoritarians are the right wing, according to them.
yes, yeah. They
Meanwhile,
even they're
they openly admit that they love communists, which are socialist authoritarians. So you
Yes,
see, it's just
yes.
word games.
All of these people who are asking for Trump to rule by executive order and all of that stuff, they are asking for a socialist authoritarian. Cut out the courts.
More
Let's just get
authoritarian
it
governments.
done.
They want
Yeah,
bigger governments.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna
I did
expand. We're
have
gonna take them.
I did have one small correction for something you said earlier.
Yeah.
Gullible and naive the right wing was.
Right.
I
Right.
agree with that, but that implies that the left wing is also like gullible and naive. The beauty
Yes.
of the left wing is you don't have to brainwash zombies that have no brains to begin with. So there's
Oh
no
no. I was
brainwashing involved on the left wing.
right. Right.
The right wing are the ones that pretend like they're kind of smart, but they're so you're right. They don't even know what they're talking about or who they're arguing with.
Right.
They fall into the exact same trap as the left
Right.
wing, but they at least feel like they're making a difference. That's the
Uh,
key difference. So I
Insidious
do
as
agree
fuck.
that they are
Right.
very naive and
And I agree
deluded
too.
and brainwashed.
I wasn't freeing the left by any means. I recognize that there was a conversation to many ways that they can be indicted for their stupidity as well, their absolute ignorance as well.
I mean, the left wing is just like. By the way, if you watch this episode, you'll hear two left wing people describing the left wing. That you don't ever even use your brain as a left wing person. You just follow
Right.
orders. Like whenever CNN or NBC tells you to say something or think something,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what you think and say. You don't even
Right.
you know think about it for a second. Like, do
Yeah.
I agree with this or do I think that? You don't. You
Right.
just do what they tell you to do.
And then by
The
me
right
being a
wing likes to
solid
pretend
left
like they're
wing.
they're so smart. Yeah. That's the left wing.
Wait,
But
wait,
the
wait. I was
the,
just
the
saying I am
faux
in
right wing, those
solid left wing territory, right? I'm in an all black neighborhood and all of that. So your mom, since you were a kid, would have pushed nothing but Democrat at you your entire fucking life.
exactly.
Yeah,
See, because the Democrats care about black people. The faux right wing hate
exactly,
black people.
exactly.
So you need more communism in your life to free yourself from the white devil.
Just go vote, Joe. Really? That's what these are simpletons around here. They think if you vote, and I've been seeing these same motherfuckers up there since I was a kid. I've been an activist at every school. It's the same motherfuckers up there every year telling a motherfucker to go vote. Why hasn't your life changed? Does this really work? You ain't figured it
Because
out yet?
democracy, Joe. Democracy. It's all about democracy. Don't you understand?
I understand that
By the way,
democracy must be a good thing.
Did you notice the joke about the Democrat Party? Their party is named after democracy. All they ever
Right,
talk about is democracy. And then they
right.
gave you Kamala Harris against your will. You didn't even get to vote for her. They just picked a president for you.
Uh, yes,
That's the
yes.
opposite of
Look,
democracy.
and you were happy about it, right? And you were happy about it that
Yeah,
you didn't,
of
yes.
course. You don't have a choice.
It's just that nagging
CNN and
shit.
NBC told you
Yes,
that you're racist if you disagree with that.
yes, yes. I can't lie. I mean, if I gotta watch the clown show, I like Republicans better simply because I don't know, they're more entertaining. The left,
They got more dank memes like Trump.
yeah,
Those are some
yes,
dank memes, man.
yes. The left follows the script so well. Everyone, Kamala, Joe, they follow it so well. It's boring, and but the right, I don't know. They're gonna say some crazy conspiratorial shit. They're gonna do something to spicing up my day.
Wait a minute,
It,
you're not a fan of Joe Biden weekend the birdies president? I mean, they
it
literally wheel out a corpse onto the stage, a dead corpse of a demented
is
pedophile,
impressive. That's impressive.
and you're not entertained by that?
Hey, I used to put bets every time he came out in that last 8 months or whatever. I would tell in any room I was on or any panel, I would say $20, he dies before the speech is over. And, no one ever took the
On
bet,
stage,
but
mid
yes,
sentence.
I'm like, no chance he's gonna survive this. That nigga damn near dead right now. No chance he's gonna survive. He's gonna trip or he's gonna swallow his own spit or something. He's gonna die right here in front of us. No, it didn't happen.
Or just pull a Mitch McConnell and just have a stroke in the middle of a press conference and just stare at the
Yeah,
camera for about an hour.
yeah,
Like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was waiting for it, bro. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I had similar thoughts, but unfortunately, they had him juiced full of too many uppers to like his
Mhm.
corpse wouldn't die. You know,
Yeah,
it was just running on
yeah.
adrenaline and shit.
He got the best fucking drug dealers and shit. They about calculated the concoction for him, jabbed him in the shoulder before he went out, just pushed him out on stage. Yeah, that's
They
where
got
I
one of those
feel
like
it.
cow shocker sticks shoved up his ass, cattle prods,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
shoved up
yeah,
his
yeah.
ass, and he's like running
Every
on
time
electricity.
he fall asleep, you turn it up a little bit. And like I was saying, yeah, yeah. Oh, there we go. Keep it up to 9. Keep it up to 9. It's
And then
all
he'd shake a hand
entertainment.
with a ghost or something.
Yeah, yeah. Spin the wrong way and shaking it. No, no one's there. Or walk off into the bushes. No, sir. This way, Mr. President. I thought every step he would die. I mean, it was getting comical in his last days. I mean, he's
I
got to
loved
go up
when
Air
the
Force
Easter
One. He'll
Bunny
never
was
make it.
showing him where to walk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they got so many clips of the guards, the Secret Service, like you say, the Easter Bunny, kids. No, no, no. This way, sir. Yeah, but he's totally fit. He's totally fit
I still
to
can't
run
figure out how
shit.
you fall upstairs either, though. That impressed me.
Yeah,
I was like, I
well,
can't even fall upstairs.
how about how
I usually
about
fall
how
downstairs.
about how about people telling us that we need a president to run the country? He is the most powerful man in all of this. When they flipped it on us, what we want is the best servant. We don't want the best ruler, powerful, tell us what to do. The whole idea was to have motherfuckers handle business while I was absent, while I was on my farm. I need someone to do something for me. It was not about I
I
need a
want none of the
ruler.
above. I want none
I
of the above. When
yeah,
when the when the aliens show up and they say, "Take me to your leader," I say, "Nigga, I'm the king of my castle. What you
right. Yeah,
want?"
right. I'm here. What do you
That's
need?
that's my.
Take me to your
You're
leader.
looking
That's
at him.
right. You're looking at him. Don't you see my wife and 2 kids? Clearly, I'm the leader. What do you need?
You're on my land, bitch.
Don't make me go get my shotgun, motherfucker. Yeah.
Exactly. See, we
Uh,
used to have these ideas when humans were smart, but we're so dumb now. We don't know what anything means anymore.
this
Anyways,
shit, this
so
shit seems
that's
logical
the
as I fight. Although I will say, you break it down better than most. Most people who talk about this shit are so emotionally broken. When you ask them a few questions, they're yelling at you. What do you expect them to do, Joe?
yeah.
By now they don't have the answers. Yeah, so this
You're
is
a
good. This is good.
homophobic, bigot,
Right,
racist. You're
you're like,
Nazi.
what the
You're a
fuck?
Nazi, Joe.
I can't ask you a couple questions. Motherfuckers get all defensive. It's because they haven't figured it out. That's what it is. They haven't really thought about it like you have. Everybody
Yeah,
got the
these are the
first
same
part.
people that were like. These were
Don't
the
pay
same people that were
taxes,
like,
man on the
Candace
land.
Owens is a white supremacist. That these are the people you argue with. It's like,
Kansas is a
sure,
fucking
okay.
idiot. Oh, she's the lowest IQ fuck flat earther I could imagine. I'm sure she's got some good ideas somewhere, but I gotta throw in there a low IQ when you think the earth is still flat and all, and just obvious. You miss shit like that, I can't, respect you.
Candace is a flat earther. I didn't
She's
know
a
that.
flat earther, yeah, bro. I'm like, really?
Holy shit.
Disappointed. The moon landing
Well, at
was
least he's
fake.
not. At least he's a little less dumber than your average left wing person, so she's got that going for her.
Yes, all right. She's got the college degree. I don't know if that makes her smarter or dumber, but yes, she's a little, seems to be a little. Oh my God. The people are so, and Lord forgive me for what I'm about to say. And these people, okay, I'll try and soften it up. These people have no critical thinking skills. If they do, they don't use them. Or is it that we're so easily influenced? You tell a motherfucker they
It's
got a number.
narratives.
Yes, they believe any narrative that comes in front of them. Is that what the fuck it is? We just that gullible? It's still low IQ shit.
It's psyops and mind control. It's all that mainstream media, university bullshit, mind control.
Yeah. So ain't niggas like us is
That's
upon
why
us.
you that's that's why you got a red pill, because you got to break out of the matrix, 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what left wing is.
That
It's just a giant
this
matrix.
is what I'm trying to tell you from chat that now that you've gained this knowledge, because it takes a while, you are the biggest asset that we have. You and cats like you. Now, if you go live in the forest and say, "Yeah, I found a secret to get away," aren't you? Don't you have a duty, an obligation? Don't you got to free everybody or no?
Well, you found me, so I guess I'm not hiding too well, am I?
All right, I gotta give you that one. That was the obvious one anyway. I'm on the internet all the time, nigga. That was the obvious comeback. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
and
not
that.
not exactly hiding any
All right,
information. I'm just saying I'm not a
all right,
part of this matrix anymore. If you want to meet
yeah,
me, you have to meet me outside of the matrix.
all right.
And so,
What state you in? What state you in,
swallow your
bro?
red pill.
What state you in? Because
I'm not giving you that much
all
information.
right, because
Central flyover.
Yeah, I'd come see. I stop and see everybody, and a lot of them are like you're talking about. A lot of these niggas got so much property
I'm
you can't
actually
even see
pretty
a
close to
neighbor.
flow state, so
Okay, well, I'm over
if
there
you're
at
in that
least
neighborhood, you're getting
two,
warmer.
three, four times a year. I'm over there a lot. I got buddies in
But I'm
New
obviously in a red
Mexico.
area because all the
Uh,
cities are blue and the states are becoming blue, so we know
right,
where not to
which
go.
is just it's scary to me, bro. That motherfuckers argue over that red state, blue state shit like it's a religion. It reminds me so much of who's better, black versus white, or my shit that people can't really feel is the gang shit. The disciples versus the vice lord. These were our ops, as we call them, enemy. And then when I went to jail, the time I was telling you about, I was still a young motherfucker, and most of the people I fell in love with were gangster disciples. They were the other side, the op. That was the first time I spent months with these motherfuckers. When I came out, that's when I was like, I was wrong. I kept writing these guys and met their leaders and all of that shit, and I was wrong. There is none.
You seen some shit, huh?
Uh,
I said you seen some shit,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. But that's the same dynamic. The same way I was young and idiot fell for that. I watched adults fall for left wing versus right, not your right wing. But they believe that
Yep.
Democrat versus Republican. I'll call it that. They believe that if you're a
The
Democrat,
faux
you're
right wing.
evil, or if you're a Republican, you're evil. It's just I
Yeah.
fell for that, but I was a
They
kid.
were both right. They were both right.
I
They're both evil. It's true.
remember that. You're
Even
absolutely
broken
right.
clocks are right twice a day, man.
Twice a day, man. Fuck yeah. Uh, Funny.
What do you think of the Twins podcast? Do you know that one?
Yeah, the Hodge twins, those Uncle Tom ass sellout
Yeah, the
niggas.
Hobbs twins.
It's hard for me to watch because every paid motherfucker on YouTube, paid by the cops or whoever pays these sellout ass niggas, I came in hot, and they wanted to transform the way I think by recommending these fucking twins, and it took me all of about 20 seconds, and I'm being generous, to find out that they were worthless tools. And anybody who sent it to me was either an idiot or paid. That's what I think about them.
Who can you
No,
trust these days? That's what I
no
want to
one's
know.
that fucking stupid, and don't. Oh my god. And it doesn't. And then the grift matters to me, right? Their grift is, and it's an easy grift. It's like a black man get up there and say, I love Trump. It's an easy grift. Or a woman get up there and say, us women need to be submissive. It's an easy grift. For them to get up and say,
Oh yeah.
black people got problems, it's an easy grift. And they swear it to the end. I know I got no respect for them niggas.
Yep.
It's surely it's the same
Well,
shit.
good
People
luck
are
finding
people.
anyone of value.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I can't tell what
I
strange world
understand
is
because
this.
it's
It follows the
grifters.
census. Servants rule princes. Yeah.
Grifters grifting grifters. That's the world we live in now.
Yes, because it's a capitalist society and it's honorable to make money and be a capitalist. It's the way of the
Don't you
world.
start that shit.
But you know.
You just went right
Yeah,
back into the left wing
yeah,
narrative. It's the
yeah.
capitalists, those dirty, greedy
I'm
capitalists.
pulling an ironic I-fi, right? That's it. Yeah, yeah. If you're
So
gonna be
the
good out there,
voluntary exchange requires
yeah,
transparency. I just told you you can't lie during your transaction.
right,
So if you're false advertising your shit, that's
right,
unacceptable. That's not
right,
capitalism.
right.
That's a violation of the basic moral
I
code.
agree. I was being sarcastic. This is what they sell you that you want to be a good at
I know
capitalist, making money. Okay, I thought that was serious, y'all. But
you're
that,
just trying
yeah,
to rustle my jimmies.
yeah. I was pulling an iPhone. Shit you've been doing all day. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Don't you want
yeah.
to follow Jesus and blow
You
up a
gotta troll
country, Joe?
people to make sure that they're still
It
alive.
won't pay that type of shit. Yeah, I get mine in every day, bro. Oh, goodness. I swear
All
it's
right,
like,
well now you know who my new girlfriend is. Leonarda Joni. She's my new poster child for the kick to the curb left that thinks they're right wing now.
I
So now
got
you
it
know.
in my phone. I got this exact video in my phone to watch later.
Also, she's
So,
hot, so she's easy to watch. So
yeah, I was gonna say that. Is it me or is it nigga hot? Yeah,
she's
it looks
hot.
like.
Oh, definitely.
Uh,
But anyways, I love how she just talks all the shit. She has no restrictions, no filters or anything. She just
right.
says exactly what's on her mind. So I think you'll get a
Well, you
kick out of
wait.
her. But anyways,
You were
she's my
saying
new.
she was
Go
getting
ahead.
canceled for something. What did she say or do?
Everything. She's racist and sexist and
Okay.
homophobic
Right.
and anti-Semitic and all. I mean, every checkbox you can check off. She's all of
Well,
the above.
I see why Roseanne was the right person for her to talk to because Roseanne has no
Yeah, yeah,
filter either. All right.
exactly.
Anything else on the
That's when you
agenda?
actually hear little truth every once in a while. What's that?
Anything else on the agenda here? It sounded like you was wrapping
No,
up.
I just wanted to get your. I wanted to pick your brain on the current state of the left wing destroying the left wing, and that's the only choice because there is no right wing. Any
Yeah, I
other
think
thoughts on that topic?
I think we're in agreement because I don't I don't think I could verbalize it the way you do. I want to avoid that the right wing. I have a specific definition of right wing. It would get me into too much trouble. But I do think you just helped me be able to articulate a lot of my arguments, and you helped me skip forward to the advanced class because as I told you, a lot of people hadn't thought this out, or they're too emotional to question about this shit. So yeah, it's been helpful to me,
That's what they're talking about.
and I think it's logical. Everything that you said is either logical or obvious. Uh, so yeah, can't wait to
Yep.
you know take this motherfucker out
Self-evident.
for a
That's
test
and I
drive.
like to
Yeah,
keep it
self
simple
evident.
because you notice you notice how a lot of these like YouTube influencers like to pretend like they're all like philosophy majors and shit and
Oh
use
yeah,
like
oh yeah,
$1,000 words to sound
yeah.
smart and shit.
Yes,
So
yes. The,
I'm not into that.
yes, Joe. You need wear the red
I
pill
like to.
ortho, bro, and we have a trad wife, and then you got all these little short terms and shit in order to like it's 12 y'all that speak that language.
You
You
got
are
to
not trying to.
understand the epistemology of your
Yes, of
axiomatic claims
yeah,
and shit.
yes, of the art claim that you are proposing. Listen, speak like a human, man. Don't fuck.
Yeah, it's like, when do you ever talk to anyone in your life, in
Yeah.
real life, like that? When have you
Hmm.
ever used any of those words?
Yes,
So
yes. You tell me you're a
that's why
YouTube
I'd rather talk
superstar
to.
without telling me you're a YouTube superstar. I can just listen to your
Exactly.
vernacular and know that your ego is through the roof.
That's why I'd rather talk to the real homies because we use regular words and regular English for
Uh,
the genuine people.
Socrates was a fan of that, and I admired him when I started reading philosophical philosophers and shit. Socrates, I really liked him. Confucius was good. They kept it simple, but I noticed that Plato went off further. Socrates, he even said it. You know, use the smallest words you can. Otherwise, if you use a big word, it better be because it's the best precise word. Otherwise, you run the risk of showing off and Plato seemed to run with that. He gained some celebrity because he was Socrates' student, and fucking Aristotle, who he taught, lost his fucking mind. He didn't even claim Plato, and then he taught Alexander the Great, which was a lunatic. I admired fucking Plato, Confucius. They were so simple, man. It's great reads, all of it, as
Also,
opposed
you
to
can just lose your audience because if they can't keep up with all your bullshit terms, then
yes.
why even talk to them?
Or you run the risk of having a very select audience who is going to give you an echo chamber, become yes men, because they're the only ones who've taken the time to understand his language. And you're a god, of course, because you damn near created it for him. So, that doesn't help you at all.
And speaking of what grinds my gears, I'll tell you something that really rustles my jimmies is these assholes like Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson who try to sound smarter than they are by just throwing out a bunch of word salads and shit like that. That kind of presentation pisses me off to no end, man. Like if you got something to say, fucking say it.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and give a TED talk about the
Yes.
meanings of words before you get to your point. Just like
Yes.
say your thing. If
Yeah.
your audience looks a little cross-eyed, like what did you just say? Then add a few
Right.
more words and say this is what
Right.
I meant to say. But don't just
Right.
like fucking word salad us to death with all your
Yeah.
bullshit. PhD sounding,
Yeah.
pseudo intellectual bullshit that they get into every single fucking time. If you ever
Uh,
watch any of these assholes go to a debate, you
uh,
will see that they never debate anything. They just talk for fucking hours and never say anything at all. That's all they do.
right.
Just like
Right.
that
No.
recent. You need to watch that debate with Dave Smith and Douglas Murray. You need to watch that debate and see exactly what I'm talking about.
Is that the one that I put in
Douglas
here already?
Murray. Douglas Murray met Dave Smith on Joe Rogan Experience podcast,
Yeah.
and they were supposed to debate Zionism and also Ukraine. So they were brought onto Joe Rogan's show to debate Zionism. The whole Israel Hamas bullshit, and
Yeah.
then if they had time, also cover Ukraine Russia. They spent 3 hours with Douglas Murray throwing out fucking useless word salads about experts and you have to be there and all that other shit. He never
Yeah.
debated the actual topic.
Wow. It
And
sounds
he
a lot
spent
like
3 hours to not debate the topic.
I think that's Andrew's tactic. He does that. Like,
That's exactly Andrew Wilson's
yes,
tactic. Thank
yes.
you. Thank you, Joe
You will
Colsey.
never
You
be
get
able.
it.
You'll never to be able to explain your side to him because as soon as you make one procession and instead of going through the steps with you to actually learn what you're talking about, he's gonna pick on one word you said and take it off and tell how great he is. See what it really is. You're not trying to hear my side anymore, and that's his tactic. He never hears your side. He breaks it up and takes it to his narrative of everything.
Yep. Yep. And then
Uh,
changes the topic whenever you call him out on his bullshit. And so it's just he's like an angry chihuahua on meth or something, He just
yeah.
that's all you get is a lot of
Yes.
angry fast barking, but no
Yes.
substance whatsoever.
That shows
No
you the
point he ever gets
showman
to.
part,
And so
which I think takes
yep.
away from him and Jim Bob and a bunch of these niggas. You get so caught up in being a showman because in order to win these debates, you got to put people down, make them look little, get the I gotcha moments, and that just the showman shit. A guy like me is going to lose respect for you. If your argument stood on his own, I'd rather hear that as opposed to watch you peacock.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But anyways, they're all part of the same culture. Like I said, Sam Harris, Jordan Peterson, Andrew Wilson, all those assholes. They have so many words that takes up 3 hours and say
Yeah.
nothing at all. They don't
Yes,
ever
and,
get to a
and
fucking
come
point.
away smiling and proud of themselves. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
like, oh, did you hear all those fancy words I said? Oh, I'm
Where's,
so
oh my
proud of
God, I
myself,
look
my
so good
PhD.
today.
And then they always claim victory in their debates, like, ha
Yes,
ha, I
yes,
wrecked my opponent. And
yes.
you're like,
Before it's
dude, you
even
didn't even start
over.
the debate.
Before it's even over, they're claiming that, which that was another reason I like Socrates, because he would not make it a war. It was a quest for truth back then. Now it's an outright war. The niggas claiming victory like we're at the basketball court or something. When they're up 15 points, they're already like talking shit. No, were we battling here, or we're trying to reach the truth of a thing?
Joe, you know it's just blood sports, and that's all it
Yeah.
is. It's just
Well,
that,
them calling it blood sport, right?
you know,
That tells me what it is. Yeah, that's I should not be ignorant. If I
they get
walk in
their,
there and the motherfucker say it's the crucible, it's blood sport, it tells me everything I need to know.
yep, it's just for super chats and clicks and subs and members
Hmm.
only. That's all. It's just the grift. It's blood sport grifting. That's all it is.
Blood sport
So,
grip thing. Damn. Yeah, it confuses
but
me.
I
All
ain't
right.
gotta explain that to you because you already knew that.
Yeah, I've been fucking on these crazy ass panels doing this shit a long time. In fact, at the first panel horror prize that I'm aware of, I won that prize because I hop in so many different rooms and shit. So I very much got a sense of the psychology of psychopathy. I don't know which is the right word, of the way people move around on these YouTube streets and all of that shit. And I got to tell you, man,
Mm-hmm.
everybody seems to be, well, 90% of it can be broken down into egotistical or broken. That's 90% of the people up here. Either they want to be
Yep.
famous or they're broken and they want sympathy or something. It's 90% of the people you're going to run into on YouTube, pals.
And they're both grifting each other, and that's the beauty of their relationship.
My victim, I'm give me money. I'm getting kicked out of my house. I got a flat. Or give me money and I'll teach you how to be a god like I am. Either way, it's a fucking
I'll
grift. It ain't about you.
I'll teach you to be a blood sport grifting champion.
Yes. 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 If you could pay my hidden top tier secret membership, you'll have free access to the same shit I do every day on panel. Thank you for that. Yeah. So glad I paid that extra money
Remember when
to
Wilson was straight up charging how to teach people how to debate or something like that?
He
I
not
was
doing that
like,
no more. I remember hearing about it. I heard the prices were
he
like
probably is.
$5. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I just remember when he started doing that. That was hilarious. I was like, don't you have to know how to debate before you start teaching other people?
Yes. I was on a panel or somebody room the other day, and the guy, his claim to fame was, I'm the one who taught Andrew Wilson to debate. And he was so bad faith. He was just got all about gotcha moments and that verbiage that we're talking about. He was cut from that cloth.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and that was his claim to fame. I taught a guy who's now bigger than I am. This
Million
is just
dollar word salads. That's all they're
uh,
capable of
uh,
making. They just throw a bunch of words out there and they're hard to pronounce, so you're too dumb to understand. So
mhm. Yes, yes. It's amazing. It ain't amazing. It is what it is. At this point, I'm not amazed anymore, but it is still interesting to me when adults do it. I expect kids and druggies to do that shit, but when a guy who can afford a mortgage is acting weird, it gets really strange, bro. Oh.
Oh man, that was the best description I've ever heard of most of these people.
All right,
Oh
I'm gonna
man,
abandon you,
children
iFi.
on
I haven't
crack.
really got my day started yet. I got to get my shower and shave, and got a lot to do
I
today.
got shit too. I was about to cut out and bail, but I just wanted to let you speak your piece.
So glad that you took that
You
time
have spoken it.
to drop that link. I really appreciate this, man. I'm not just talking.
All right, we'll do it again sometime. I'll try and catch you again. We'll continue another chat, but
All right, it'd be
we'll
easy,
see.
pal. All right.
Stay frosty. All right, later. And that's today's episode, kiddies. Thanks for stopping by. By the way, be sure you check out Leonarda Joni. She's my new poster girl for red-pilled left-wingers who are looking for a home with good and intelligent people. So if anyone knows her, drop my name. I can help her out. I'll help her find the true right wing utopia she's looking for. But until then, we'll just put up with the same old bread and circus bullshit we've been doing for the past century or so. We'll see. Anyways, thanks, Joe Cool, for stopping by. It's always a pleasure. Always enjoy it. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay frosty.